Hey folks, it's Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be Into the Mind of Big Nog during UFC 110. And basically, this is what you see, the fundamental thing about Big Nog's mind that keeps repeating itself over and over, repeating theme. Okay. Let's see here a little bit. Okay, basically, like I said before, you only have two problems, ego and pleasure. And basically, Big Nog has, notice what I'm saying, he's able to keep his ego in check. And when I say ego, I mean the sense of self that we carry around, that most fundamental belief. And again, it's conscious control, ego. And that's what you're going to see with Big Nog a lot throughout this analysis. Okay, so we all know about Big Nog's personal tragedy as a child, getting run over by a truck and having all kinds of internal damage, and probably was, never going to walk again, and obviously overcome those things. And it says a lot about him being able to overcome it. Plus, when you have tragedies as a child, it teaches you a lot of lessons early in life that you need to learn, which makes you a much better person. And you also see it with kids like St. Jude's and stuff like that. They overcome tremendous odds and have really great attitudes that you really wouldn't expect. You expect them to feel sorry for themselves. And I've heard this one story with this kid. I guess he was going to die. He said, "Mom, it's okay. This is just the way life is." And they're actually comforting their parents. And there's an old martial arts saying too that as a child you should seek out hard times. And basically what they're getting at is it teaches you a lot of life lessons. You're not protected too much from the way life really is, and it teaches you a lot of lessons that makes you a much more compassionate and understanding person. And that's why I say good times create bad people or cruel people, and bad times create compassionate people. So anyway, what did his personal trials teach Big Nog as a person when he's a child? Okay. So basically what you learn is when you have trials in life, you start learning the value of family. You don't necessarily always appreciate that as a child, and as a child you're more of a taker than a giver. But when you go through hard times, you learn to appreciate a lot of things that you may have never been able to learn any other way. Also notice what happens once you, as a child, he's going through this. He learned the unwillingness to give up, which is most of us as kids, we're out playing, goofing off, having a good time. But as a life lesson, he's having to learn how to overcome all the pains of his body. And so he's learning how to be a champion as a child, learn how to deal with all the, suppress all the whine and the crying and the bitching and complaining about pain. And not only is he's suppressing it, but he's also learning how to deal with it and overcome it. And that's why I point out that, all this, he's able to suppress it. And notice what else is happening. He's learning to develop character. And what is character? Character is really the suppression of your own selfish ways and actually be able to care about other people. And so you notice these kids, like I was talking about St. Jude's, they learn how to care. And so you take character and caring, and that teaches him how to help other people. So if you notice on The Ultimate Fighter, he was a very compassionate person and caring about the fighters and if they're getting enough sleep, where you've seen the opposite of that with Frank Mir. He just seemed like, it's all fun and games. He don't give a rat's ass. I'm getting paid. That kind of attitude. So that's what his trials taught him. He may have learned this stuff anyway because maybe he's got a good family that taught him these lessons, but it was forced upon him regardless if he wanted to learn them or not. Okay. So the next question is, what did his hard times teach his opponent when he gets in the ring? So he's coming in the ring with a whole lot of life experiences that other people really just sort of smooth sailing hadn't learned. So here's what he teaches his opponent, and it's in blue. So what hard times teaches his opponent? Basically, it makes him maybe hard to see, hard to knock out, which that makes his opponent furious, and it probably should have said frustrated. Because imagine you're in there, you're banging on a guy, you hit him with everything you got, you break your fist on his face, you almost knock him out, but he's still there. That's got to be frustrating. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what his hard times taught him was unwillingness to give up. And really, what does it mean to have a good chin? Somebody told me, you either got a good chin or you don't got a good chin. Well, I don't believe that. Because I think part of having a good chin is the unwillingness to give up. unwilling to relinquish your control over your spirit. And the second thing on the good chin is the more you develop your spirit, and if you notice too, the people who can give a good punch usually can take a good punch. So it's really a lot of spiritual development and conscious control of that spirit is what having a good chin. So when he comes to the cage, he's hard to knock out because he's dealt with a lot of problems in life. So he's good at dealing with problems, and that translates into the ring or the octagon. Okay, so what's the future for Big Nog? Okay. What's the future of Big Nog? And the future for me is, what I see him getting a lot of respect. And he has a lot of respect now. It's hard to disrespect Big Nog because he has so much respect and he cares so much about other people, so it's really hard to disrespect him. And if you look at the other thing he should have a rich family life because he's probably a really caring person as far as his family and investing in his family. You heard him on The Ultimate Fighter talking about how family is important to him, and when he was on the show, he tried to treat people like they were family, and he was more of a caregiver. So I see him having a rich family life. Also, great coaching career because he does care about people. He cares about learning, cares about their development and stuff like that. So I could see him being a great coach later on. Not only, and he'd probably even be a better coach at teaching people how to endure hard times. And he may even be good to teach people who are dying, who've got cancer and stuff like that, teaching them how to deal with it. So he could have a great career doing a lot of things, helping people overcome adversity. Will he be champion? I don't know. There's a lot of great guys above him. Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin, Cain Velasquez, who he's fighting now, which I sort of believe he'll beat Cain, but he may not. But eventually, I think Cain will be able to beat him. If not this time, maybe down the road. So, but one thing I do think that's maybe hard for Nog to deal with in the future. Eventually, that pain is going to catch up with him. Maybe it'll be when he's 70 years old, but eventually the consciousness will break down and all that pain will come through. But maybe he's got what it takes to do it until close to the end of life. So that's what I see coming. Next into the series of Into the Mind, guess who we're going to be talking about? GSP. Oh, some of you are going to hate this video and some of you are going to love it because it's an honest reflection of GSP. I don't get caught up in the grandioso of people being champions. I just tell it like it is. And those of you who don't like some of the things you've seen from GSP, you're going to love what I got to say. And it's not going to be a hating on GSP. It's just telling it like it is. Plus, I'm going to have some good advice for GSP on what he should do instead of going down some of the roads he's been going down ever since the Matt Serra knockout. So, anyway, until the next Into the Mind video, later, folks. Oh yeah, and I think I'm gonna start a playlist of Into the Mind series, and I may start it with GSP. But anyway, till the next video, later, folks.